What's up, guys? Welcome back to the show. I am Billy Collins along with
Matt Doge, Man Dodge.
You like Dogecoin. You start your own crypto.
Dogecoin. If that's not a pump and dump, I don't know what is.
Guys, this is The Magician and the Jock, soon to be the number one show.
We were sitting around thinking there's just not enough podcasts out there. So
why not start one?
And you can probably see our equipment game has gone up.
Gone through the roof. We got the microphones. We're getting the backdrop ready.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. So Magician and the Jock, which I came up with.
Right, he did.
And if it sounds eerily similar to The Fighter and the Kid, that's because I really like that name.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is pretty neat. And I think Picasso said, which I was there, good artist borrow, great artist steal. So Magician and the Jock just rolls on. We were thinking Magician and his Jock, but that's a little subservient, if I'm going to be honest. A little suggestive.
We want to be kind of on a even keel. And you want to tell us why you came up with the name?
Well, so besides it being brilliant, it's descriptive terms of both of us. So maybe let's let you start off. Why are you qualified to call yourself the Magician? And by the way, guys, this beautiful mic right here, that is the magic mic. So if he talks into that, it's going to get weird.
Something's going to happen.
So, Magician, give us your backstory.
So, I've been doing magic for many, many, many years now. Competed in competitions before, had multiple stage shows, multiple gigs, multiple corporations that I worked for, multiple speaking engagements that I did magic with. I kind of entwined the two together.
Yeah, you're like magic. There's like magic comedians, which I've been to your show. They're funny.
Yeah. But
you also, on the corporate side, tie in kind of a motivational message.
Right, and it's just about teaching through magic. Mm-hmm. Getting the point across, because I get not that I don't like motivational speakers. I do like them, but sometimes they just get kind of like drawn out.
Yeah, well, there's a million of those, so it's like, how do I separate myself? How am I unique? Well, I know magic.
Right, and that was just a good way to kind of break the ice and think outside the box by using magic. I teach magic to people. I do walk around magic. I mean, everything I do for the past, I would say past 15 years of just strictly concentrating on magic, not just as a hobby, but as a career. Mm-hmm. Kind of catapulted.
How old were you when you first started?
So when I first started magic, I was in South Carolina. I lived there. I was 13. And I would buy tricks from this place called Conley's House of Magic at Barefoot Landing.
You would turn tricks behind this place.
Turn tricks. And then...
what was the first... Did you see I've heard a lot of stories where they saw a magician do something and like all the other kids were like, wow. And there's one kid that's like, oh, how did he do that? They're like, I have to learn that power.
So my first... And probably why it's one of my favorite tricks, and I don't really perform it because the style of magic doesn't really fit with it. It's called the classic cups and balls routine. It's one of my favorites. It's the first thing I saw when I walked in, and I said I need to learn that. I bought the little set. Ron Conley at the time said, you learn this, come back, and we'll get you some more stuff. And as time went on. But cups and balls has just been my number one. It's one of the oldest tricks known to men.
And women.
And women. Whoa, man. They do magic too.
We're going to start this thing out right.
But that's where my love for magic started, was with the cups and balls. And
so when you saw it, were you like, that's amazing and I have to learn how to do that? Or were you like, that's wizardry?
At first I was blown away. I was like, that isn't real. Like, that can't happen.
Like, yeah, that's the thing. We watch magicians, even though we know they're not magic. Like, but I don't know. For me, I don't want to look at how tricks are done. I want to just be amazed and be like, that's awesome.
Well, the problem with that is, like, now the magic is done. It's over. And when people say, I want to learn how to do that, I'm like, do you really want to learn? Because once you learn the ins and outs of magic, like, there's not much. I'm good friends with Brian, and he's a fellow magician in the area. We've had this conversation before. It's really hard to get, like, excited about a magic trick because there's only so many certain ways to do things in magic.
Yeah. But you kind of fall in love with the reactions, right? Like you mentioned a couple shows ago, there was a little girl in the crowd who just was coming out of cancer treatment.
That is the magic that happens for magicians, is the response that we get from the audience, is that brief moment of suspending people's beliefs to let them escape from like reality for a little bit. And to me, that's strength.
After shows, so you learned that, and I'm guessing you also thought this is going to help me get laid.
So I learned magic, a little bit of magic, and
I think they can hear every time you touch the mic. So try not to.
Okay.
I'm starting to pick it up. Sorry, guys. Just
rookie mistake. But every time I would learn tricks, and as I got older, I started playing baseball, started playing football. Kind of got away from magic, didn't really do it.
Okay, did you do the hidden ball trick in baseball?
I should have.
Once they know you're a magician, they are looking out for that.
They're like, look, he's got the ball. He plays first base. He's got the ball.
Don't trust him.
But I went to after high school. Sports was over for me. I was too small. Wasn't going to play. Wasn't athletic enough, actually. Wasn't the jock, and definitely not the jock and the magician and the jock.
See, I was way too muscular to be a magician, so it's my cross to bear.
But when I got into college, that's how I'd pick up girls. I'm like, hey, do you want to see a magic trick? And then I would show them a card trick, and I'm like, if I stun you, I would be like, there's a certain trick I do where they write down on a card. I'm like, I tell you what.
Where they sign their name, it's like, there's no way this could not be your card.
Right, and I would say, write your phone number down instead. And I would like,
keep your eye on him, guys.
And if I blow your mind, can I call you? And they would say yes. So, and then that's how I got into magic in college. And then after college, career set in, family life, all that fun stuff.
You had to put the wand away.
Had to put the wand away. It was actually tucked away nicely. And then about 15 years ago, I really got the bug again. And, I was a lot older to be starting a serious magic career, but I wanted to do it. Eugene Berger, I always looked up to him. He's one of the classics and magicians. You magicians out there will know who Eugene Berger is. Well, he started late in his career. It's a dirty habit.
Billy, you just got to have something in your hands, man. I know. Jeez. Hold the magic mic, yeah.
But Eugene Berger actually was older when he started magic. I think he was in his late 40s. So I was like, well, if he can do it, I'm good at 32 years old. And from that point on, it's been going on. I love it.
What does a career in magic look like? I immediately envision the big name guys, but I know for the vast majority of guys,
it's a lot of hustle, a lot of going out, trying to get gigs, putting on your own stuff. I was with a couple other magicians for a few years that we ran a show at a local theater.
Kind of like the traveling, traveling actors back in the day. They would go from small town to small town.
Type deal. And then went on, did my own shows, put on those shows for myself and booked it myself, did all the back work, did all the prop building, all the designs, all the music layouts, all the magic layouts, the timing, the staging, everything. So it's a lot of work
on top of hundreds and hundreds of hours of is this your card? Is this your card? Or palming or learning there's a lot of technique to it.
A lot of sleight of hand, a lot of we call it mind mischief. So yeah, it was a lot of work. You have to love it because you're definitely not going to get rich off it unless you're Chris Angel, David Blaine, Copperfield, those type guys.
Right.
People do very well in magic.
It's the Pareto principle. There's always a small amount making a lot of money in every business you look at. Okay, so that's how you're the magician.
That's how I'm now. As far as a jock, what classifies Matt Dodge as the jock?
Yeah, so I'm. Let's see. I'm always on Billy's nuts. So that's no. So my background, I played every sport growing up. just like most kids, I had athletic ADD. So as soon as one sport was over, I was ready to play another. And, I'm trying to think back. I was looking at old scrapbooks. I don't know how my parents had any time to do anything because
5 kids.
I mean, you were one of 5 kids too,
Yeah.
but I was one of 5, and 4 of us played a lot of sports. My older brother's 6 years older than I am, so. But then I've got twin sisters and then a younger brother, and we all played sports. So I played soccer, basketball, football, hockey, roller hockey. Believe it or not, if anyone listening from Carteret County, I lived at Sports World. If you remember the old skating rink. So roller hockey culture was huge coming up. Now, zero future in that, but it was my favorite sport. I actually ended up playing for a team out of Apex, which is right around Raleigh. And every Saturday I would drive 3 hours to go to a 1 hour practice. So that's how much I loved hockey. But
Was that like a travel team, or was it?
yeah, so kind of like AAU basketball or whatever. You have a team and then kind of go all over. But mostly North Carolina, South Carolina. You end up playing a lot of the same teams a lot. But fast forward to high school, I was going to play soccer in high school. And the story goes, I was a minute late to a varsity practice. This was coming into my freshman year in high school. And I thought it was voluntary. And guys, I was 14, so it's not like I chose to be late. But the coach said, I think he wanted to make an example out of me and said, go home. And I was thinking, how can I do that? I don't have a cell phone. My mom just dropped me off. And I looked over on the football field, and the varsity kicker, Stephen Chalk, who was hitting bombs. He's still local here in Morehead City. But he was out there kicking. And I had kicked in middle school. On top of being like really badass real football player, but hopefully none of my teammates are listening. But no, I figured, hey, I had my soccer cleats, walked over, started kicking a football, and lo and behold, end up going and playing college ball, punting, won a national championship at Appalachian State before transferring to East Carolina, Pirates, baby, and ended up getting drafted by the New York Giants out of college. So football, I kind of
Went to the
backed into it. Yeah, backed into it. It wasn't something where I remember we were at the rookie symposium my rookie year, obviously. So they take all the drafted guys. They flew us all out to California, and they were going out around the room. I remember I was in the room with the drafted Minnesota Vikings, I believe. Remember the guy Toby Gerhart or whatever?
Yeah.
Was he from? Might have been Nebraska or something.
I know it was a red team.
I remember specifically he was in there. Jason Pierre-Paul, who's still playing, he was in my draft class by the Giants. He was our first rounder.
Buccaneers.
Yeah, Linville Joseph, who I played with at East Carolina, was drafted to the Giants. So we were all in there, and they were going around the room saying, like, okay, Billy, when did you know you were going to be in the NFL? And guys were like, dude, I knew my first word was actually 3 letters, and it was NFL. Like that, they knew that they
From
knew.
the moment.
Yeah, and we've all seen the commercials of like Peyton and Eli Manning wearing the jerseys. They were kind of destined to play in the NFL. Now that there's Arch Manning, who's coming up now, who's like, it's just written in the stars for him to be in the NFL. It was never like that for me.
That family's just all generation from
Oh,
Archie to
man. Now, obviously very talented.
And what I've heard out of the 3, that David, the oldest brother, was better than both the other 2.
Is his name David?
I think it's David.
I don't know. I thought it was Archie. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, there's 3 brothers.
The one that got injured.
Yeah. I think it's. We'll look it up.
Yeah, but anyway, so I didn't have that story. Making it to the NFL was kind of like playing with house money. So I made it, and that is how I'm a jock.
So what did you learn out of your stint being with the Giants? What's the number one?
So we did a show previously on being on celebrity. I also learned if you want to make it to the highest level of anything, which you can't really make it to any higher level than I did in football. I mean, there's 32 positions in the world.
Yeah.
Is number one, you have to have a ton of God-given talent. Every age group always had the strongest leg. I could always just kick stuff. My nickname as a kid was the Golden Toe. which I didn't kick it with my toe. I think my grandma came up with that. But I always had a really strong leg.
Can't fight with grandma.
I could, man. She's kind of slow, but
She
doesn't want any now, man. But yeah, I always had a strong leg, so I knew, hey, there is a God-given natural aspect to making it to the highest level of anything. So I learned that, and then also learned, kind of what it's like being a celebrity, right?
Right.
So I tend to think everyone has some kind of superpower, but my superpower happened to correlate with an NFL, a team, a league that is a worldwide known brand. You know what I mean? If I was the number one underwater basket weaver, I could have been born with that talent, but not a lot of people know about it, right? So I learned what it was like being under a microscope.
So, do you miss it?
It's been a while. If I'm still missing it, dude, like.
But I guess it's been, was it?
Hashtag move on. Almost 10 years now. Yeah, I miss aspects of it. You ask any athlete, they'll tell you what they miss the most is the camaraderie, the teammates. Some of the funnest times ever being in the locker room, partying after games. It's just you're not in the quote unquote real world. You're not going to have that big a group of guys, from all kinds of different backgrounds, all under the same roof, going towards one kind of common goal. You know what I mean? When you get into the real world, it's a lot of, eat what you kill. You're kind of on your own. Even if you work at a company, it's a lot more you. Whereas it's a cohesive unit. It's very similar, I've heard, to guys coming out of the military. They miss their brothers, right? The camaraderie. So I certainly miss that.
Well, I can definitely see that as far as I played sports, but as far as Magic, you're kind of on stage by yourself.
Oh, yeah.
So it's, kind of neat that you have a team, a band of brothers.
Yeah. So that was the thing I missed the most. College, I think, was a lot funner than the pros, even though in the pros you're getting paid. But in college, it's all 18 to 22-year-old dudes that just
party.
Off the charts testosterone. Like, yeah, there's no better feeling than after winning a game and then, kind of like all the movies make it look like all the jocks or whatever. It is a, if you're a big deal at your college, because college football, if you look at the revenue to different universities, it's not even close. Yeah. There's some where basketball does pretty well, but college overwhelmingly is the revenue generator for colleges. So definitely miss that.
Yeah.
But it's what I also learned too. I had no idea that doors would continue to be opened. Like I'm learning the NFL's only getting bigger, So it'd be like if you went on and did really well on like America's Got Talent or something like that you could, kind of keep drawing from that well for long after you're done.
Yeah, you're getting calls to do podcasts and appearances and working with different publishing companies. You did podcasts. We have a guest.
Oh my God.
We have a guest.
Guys.
Hold on, guys.
Billy, can you believe it?
We have a surprise guest.
And his name... Go ahead, dude. We don't want to lose viewers.
Oh, Chris.
Okay.
Usually you introduce the guest.
This is Chris. What?
Yes.
So, guys, we were just going over magician in the jock.
Right.
We just talked about how you're a magician and I'm a jock. Well, Chris is also a jock, but this is a perfect segue. So, for those of you that know, Chris is my younger brother.
He is, and
much younger, but we look identical in how much the sun's affected our faces.
Our bodies.
All right.
But Chris is more of a jock.
All right.
Chris is definitely more of a jock than I am. He was a real football player. But no, this is a perfect segue because we were going to go into how Billy and I know each other.
Yeah, how we met.
And when did I first met you? Was it at a game or something random? But
actually, you came to the house, and what was funny about it is because I had heard Matt Dodge the punter, and I had this in my head. I'm like, He's a punter. He's
Probably
like
gay.
probably my size.
Yeah.
And then you walk into the house, and I'm just like, shit.
Adonis. Genetic lottery.
I was like, well,
But why was I at your
A lot
house?
of curls.
I think you were dropping off Chris or.
No, I'm giving you the setup because Chris was
Oh, he was dating my daughter.
dating his daughter.
That's right. Dating for how many years?
4.
4 years?
Yeah, 4 years.
There's a microphone. So you were dating his daughter.
For 4 years. And that's basically how. I mean, and
So at
then
least something good came out of the relationship.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And it was kind of like we all became sort of a family almost. Like
Yeah, I mean, that was in high school and a couple years after.
So
it was
because
fun.
You got
And
to
it
talk
just-
into the mic. These are directional mics. Okay.
So direct it.
No, you're good.
All right.
just
Okay.
So
yeah,
you
I'll
were
keep
dating.
doing that.
How old were you when you started dating Brittany?
17. So yeah, young love.
young love. But now you're 28,
Yes.
soon
Well,
to be.
So what? Why
And a
they
half,
they
28 and a
broke
half.
up because you got to college, started wearing shirts like that, and started experimenting with the opposing
With-
team.
Yeah. Well, you want to know what the visitor's bench
Asians.
is like?
Asians?
Yeah.
No. Why did you guys break up? And do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Let's get into it, man. No. Oh no. Just we just broke up.
So, what was your first impression of old Billy Balls over here? And do you mind if I call you that?
Go right ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying
I'm
to
your
remember the
jock.
first time I knew Billy was a hustler because I remember he would like. I thought he was a bartender, but then I didn't even realize he had a day job.
He didn't even
at the
work
time.
there.
So like the whole time, and then at night you would bartend,
Yep.
and then yeah. I mean, I'm trying to remember the.
Did he do
I
a
don't
magic?
remember
Did he do a
meeting.
magic trick the first time he
I
met
did
you?
a few magic tricks. I mean,
Yeah. You. I know we talked about this a little while ago, but yeah, you would when you were learning a new magic trick. That's when you would show me,
yeah.
and some of them were really dangerous, like nails and bags, and
Chris,
it was
I'm-
pretty sketchy.
Now I'm gonna saw you in half,
Yeah.
but I'm just learning this. So
I've never
Rusty
done this,
saw.
but could you stand by that board as I throw
Right.
these daggers?
close your
Not only
eyes. And,
that.
we used to do a magic trick. Close your eyes, open your mouth. Remember that?
Yeah, dude, childhood.
Chocolate is a bitch.
This is getting weird.
So
right.
Chris is 6 years my
See,
younger.
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 Yeah,
I'm his elder,
you're his elder.
and yeah, I wouldn't say I bullied Chris, but I was 6 years older than him. So forever, I mean, there's a big difference from 6 to 12. That's like an adult. But Chris always wanted to play. We had a great game. Eat your vegetables.
Eat your vegetables. Hopefully there was no
was
chocolate outside.
St. Augustine grass. But
Yeah.
anyone if you meet Chris has like a natural like edge to him, right? Like a chip on his shoulder. Because I did that.
I love how you
So
turn it
you're-
around to like
So
how you
you're
did me a
welcome.
favor.
You're welcome.
No, I wouldn't. I would have never. Well, some of the stuff was bullying, but you never felt like
Chris, shut up. All right?
you never felt like you were going to get hurt, but you were definitely picked on. So
Dude.
whatever that definition is.
I forget, weren't we were in a hotel one time and I like punched you in the arm and you got like the most, it was like bloop. Like I was thinking, oh no.
Dude, Matt would hit me and then tickle me.
And I was like, no, you're cool, man. Like just
I'd be
started
like, what in the
tickling him. But it toughened him up. He could whoop my ass now.
Damn right.
So
With a bottle of Jack.
That's right.
yeah.
Oh,
he,
by the way, should we give a plug to the boys that had us yesterday?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you see these beautiful bottles. These are actually complimentary bottles from the guys over at Drinking Bros Podcast.
That's
So
right. The one that Matt was just on the
You'll be releasing that video soon of the road trip, right?
Yeah, that will be probably tomorrow. I'll release that. This will drop on Friday.
So it was in Clayton, North Carolina.
Clayton.
which I mean, we're born and raised in Moorhead. You've been here long enough. You're not
Yeah.
local, but where are you from originally? South Carolina?
Yeah, so I've been here since I was 16, so 32 years.
So I've been here longer. And more local.
And I haven't.
More local.
Because he's old.
But no, we went to Clayton, North Carolina, and we met some interesting guys. So like, you ever been to Clayton? I'm like, not on purpose. And but I've driven by it a couple times. It's what, like a half hour outside of Raleigh?
Yeah, it's not far outside of Raleigh. It's pretty cool little town.
But we filmed the show in like this. They said it was a house that was built in like 1908 or something. And I'm like, well, that explains why the Wi-Fi sucks in here.
It was awful.
It was really cool setup. So we filmed there. Eric Tanzi, who is on kind of one half of the Tailgate Legends podcast. He also just had a new show called, I think, Failure to Stop, because he's a former law enforcement, former special operations in the military, all-around badass. But funny story about him, and I don't want to steal his thunder, but if you listen to his show, he was awarded, like, Cop of the Year, like some really high prestigious award, in the same year that he opened up his distillery where these came from. And they said, we think it's unbecoming of a police officer, so they actually fired him. I think it was either the day or the day before they presented him with the Cop of the Year award.
Insane.
Like, he was fired. So anyways, he's doing podcasting now, and they're a huge operation over at Drinking Bros. But that is his stuff. Check him out. I mean, he's crushing it.
Yes.
It's glass.
It's glass.
It's real glass.
It's real. That's actually liquor in there.
And the pictures of these women on the front apparently are local girls
from Clayton.
In Clayton, yeah. So
it was
check them out.
super cool. I appreciate them having Matt come in. I got to tag along just so I could see their setup and see how they operate, and just like Matt and I are wanting to grow this, and we want it to be the best experience that you have, and so we took any opportunity.
The distillery is called Instill Distillery. So check them out. Check out Drinking Bros podcast. Man, they're awesome. But anyways, so plug out of the way. Let's just talk about how I've made Chris a better human being.
We go right back to...
Yeah, well, Matt has a good look on life, and somehow anything... not good looking. No, I mean, it's... I have no complaints about childhood. It was fun.
But he was the baby of 5. You're the oldest of 5.
The oldest of 5, yeah.
So, yeah, it's a unique, and that's honestly what this show, what's different about this show. It's just a couple dudes being dudes, but we like to take serious topics and talk about them in an entertaining way.
Yeah, bring a little bit of light to it.
Yeah, what do they call it? Like valuetainment, So it's got to be entertaining. We are addicted to success. Billy, Chris, you said Billy's a hustler, so we've done a bunch of shows on that. But this is your empire you're building. So what's your idea for the show? You just wanted an excuse to get these mics?
I really did. I think I look cool with the headphones on and the mics. And that was it. That's the only purpose I started this channel.
Yep.
That's it.
You can't freestyle. There.
And by that, you can go ahead and subscribe so we can pay for these fancy 18 cents that we get. But seriously, I just, for the channel, my purpose, and I've fluctuated in and out of different things doing or ideas on the channel, is that I really wanted to add value. I wanted to add entertainment and content. And, you and I would sit for hours when I come visit in the office and just talk about random stuff, but we always got something out of it. We always had a good time.
That's how a lot of podcasts are. They're conversation. You're like, dude, I wish we could record this.
Yeah, and we were like, why didn't we turn on the camera and just press play?
Yeah,
and press record.
I know Chris and I and you. I mean, we are huge content consumers.
Yeah.
But at some point you want to flip the switch and say, look,
it's time to
let's start producing content instead of just, YouTube came out my freshman year in college, and that's back the glory days of the internet. But since then, there's you can literally learn whatever you want. So. Oh
yeah, and I think we've done a good job as far as growing this so far, because first episode we were in a black room.
Yeah.
I don't see color. Flag.
Dude, I think I'm still in a black room.
I don't see color.
We're still working on.
Graduated.
We're working on Chris's side of world. But now we've got a setup here. We got the microphones. We have the backdrop. We have room for guests because we'll be having guests come in.
And I think Chris is going to be. So Chris, you've been in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, for the past 6 years. I know it was kind of crazy how that even started. You were up there.
Yep.
And as far as...
So our real jobs, we work for a company called Market Street Wealth Management. I was an advisor. I was up in PA, living in a barn, and somehow I talked Chris into like, dude, you got to come up here. This is amazing.
Yeah, well, you think
moved
that's
up.
bad, but like
It was
what
a
I was
barn.
comparing that to was, selling vacuums.
Yep.
So I figure if you can sell vacuums,
God, I
can
forgot
sell
you
just
sold
about
vacuums.
quite a few of them.
Those things.
And if you need a
sucked.
replacement, let me know.
Yeah. You
Pretty
sold.
sure
It
I
was
can
the
still get a
company
deal.
that acquired Electrolux, right?
Yeah. So we would go in with these little air tests, and parents still actually have those
They work.
products.
They're
I mean,
amazing.
Yeah, so I know when I was there, we were doing, I was starting to go with the database because I was like, why are we hitting on new people when you got 30,000 people to
We
kind
just
of...
scam the same old people over and over.
And so I was talking with Matt about like, okay, like, how do I do this? And he's like, well, dude, there's a database up here for you.
Yeah.
And I think a week and a half later, I moved up.
Right.
But I moved up. There was no job. There was no whatever. And Matt and I, we lived in the barn, and he just kept saying, dude, it's like training camp.
I was like purposely, and I just did that so we didn't have to spend any money, dude. I swear they thought we had a meth lab because,
Well, they thought we were gay.
Well, these
Learned
guys
that
are
the
gay.
wrong
They look
way.
exactly
Yeah,
alike.
dude, they actually told me that.
we put up black trash bags over the windows. I'm like, it looked like a meth lab. But
Yeah.
they thought we were gay
Because
our hair was perfect.
we were trying to play some softball, and Matt was going to be the pitcher until he realized there's no net in front of you.
No, yeah.
And they rip.
Yeah, we
So,
played, we played
we're
like
just
Jim
shirts
Bob's
off,
tree
just
removal
playing,
service.
yeah.
They look like the WWE.
Dude. Yeah, they started getting outs because of how many home runs they hit. Which I didn't even know that existed. I was like, hell yeah.
But anyway,
I was like, serve 'em up
so you moved up there, and then I moved back, and you've kind of been up there, got yourself established, and we have a branch office in Morehead City where I'm at, and COVID, the zombie apocalypse has made every business had to figure out how to go remote, and you just looked and saw like, man, I'm doing literally everything remote, virtual, Why I'd rather be in North Carolina. That's where my heart is. That's where my family is. All my friends, all that stuff. And it's been pretty recent, like in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I would say, the goal the entire time.
You've
has
wanted to
been
do it
come
for a
down.
long time.
Yeah, like when I moved up, there was no like thought that I would be there for a long time. It was, okay, we got an office here, go up, learn the system, come back down, do that. And then one thing led to another. It was cool to get out. It was cool to be in a place where you're not the youngest of five, to tell you the truth, and just meet new people and kind of see what's going on.
It's great town, Westchester, Pennsylvania, and guys, that's where Viva La Bam, a lot of Jackass, the original CKY videos, they're all from Westchester. So it's a pretty cool town.
Yeah, it's fun. You
But
can
it's-
definitely get in some.
It's not
fun there.
Eastern North Carolina.
No, and I know people would be like, "Do you like it?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a cool place," but you can't compare it to where here.
Yeah.
So it was not a fair comparison. And the goal the entire time, and 6 years up there,
That is crazy.
it's crazy also because I kept everything North Carolina. Like, that's how I was gonna move back.
Licensed.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not putting a PA license
thought
plate
I would
on
be-
there. Like,
I thought I'd be so much further along 6 years. Jeez. Keep going, sorry.
Well, you are. You're on a podcast with me.
Only took 6 years.
Only 6 years.
yeah, well, things are looking up. Got a pretty cool bedroom at my parents' house.
Yeah, ladies, recently single. So yeah, this is a
You
big,
know what when you say that, I'm thinking no rent.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy for about a month of putting everything in the bank.
He is a boy he's a boy that can shave. He's just got to.
He's a boy with a
still
dream.
doesn't. Yeah.
And still does shave.
But no, I just thought this is a total eclipse of the sun because when I met you, Chris was dating your daughter. you were happily married.
I was yep.
Bliss, like
Blissfulness.
Never. That's never going to end. And I was the single guy. Well, now I'm happily married.
And I'm the
you
single
guys
guy.
are out slinging it every night.
Whoa! I wouldn't say slinging it.
Drugs. I was talking about drugs.
Yes, street pharmacist.
But you guys are both. So Chris is newly on the market.
I've been on the market. Well, I haven't put myself on the market. I'm just.
You were married. You were married 20 plus years.
I'm like the Petridge Farm lady that gives out samples. I'm the sample. You can get a sample.
You're
of this.
a lady.
He's an old lady.
That's
old
what I
lady.
heard.
Give you a taste.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. It's
yeah.
like I'm an old lady.
That's what you said.
I did say that. I know. Now I should have caught myself.
I've been called worse. But now you guys are free range doing.
I know.
Doing your
I
thing.
thought I was doing good till the Baby Dodge came back, and damn it, I'm now more competition.
Competition is rolled in.
Jesus, I give up. I'm moving.
It's
to
a trickle down.
Westchester.
It's the trickle down effect.
Dude, I got a lease you can take over.
Yeah, seriously. An air mattress with a hole in it. So on the show, it'll be a lot of evergreen content like we've done before. Like, hey, what's your thoughts on being authentic, or your thoughts on this or that? But a little more
expandable and more entertainment value with it.
more conversational too. With
Yeah,
this
I mean, it's gonna be free flow. I don't want people to come on the channel and just feel like they're being preached to, or they're being. I just want them to feel better about themselves when they turn off YouTube and
just be entertained, really.
Yeah, I mean, and I just. You said something yesterday when I said I don't think I'll ever be a household name, and you're like, well, why not?
Why not, dude?
And the whole time I'm thinking.
You think that Petridge Farm lady ever thought
the Petridge Farm when she
Billy
was handing
would
out
be
the cheese,
calling himself that in the future?
Dude, I have no idea who you're talking about, by the way. What is Petridge Farm?
It's sausage
Okay.
and cheese you get at Christmas time. But it started me thinking. I'm like, well, why can't we just make this channel or this show the number one show that we can?
Yeah, and part of that's. I mean, if you ask Chris, that's kind of how my mind is wired. It's like, dude, why couldn't we be on Shark Tank, or why, and I think part of that is I was born with that ambition, but also playing in the NFL, being on the highest level, being brushing elbows with literal household names, and thinking, holy shit, man, he's not any more talented than I am. Yeah, Pat McAfee talked about that. He would at away games, they'd be in the hotel and he'd be watching Saturday Night Live, and he's thinking, dude, I can do this. You know what I mean? There's a switch that flips in your mind, and that's a lot of it.
I think as the more I get my confidence back, because when I
get your balls back,
get
dude.
your balls back. But when I first started in my big career, 20 years with the big box store, like being a high level,
the biggest.
So when I was there, I would set goals that were just astronomically ridiculous, and people are like, well, you can't do that. You can't do that. I'm like, no. But if I strive for that, just imagine how great I'm going to do in our.
Here's what I want you to say. So, you tell me I can't do. Say you can't do that.
You can't do that.
No, I'd say you can't do that. Remember we were talking. Basically, a lot of people project their own insecurities.
Right? Yeah.
on
We
you.
had to.
Yeah, they project a lot of stuff on
Like, dude, that. Or like, hey, say this to a girl at a bar, and like, you can't say that. What they're really saying is, I'm not confident enough to say that. And I'll be like, dude, I've said it a million times. So with this, why not set your sights on that? I think it was Grant Cardone that says 10x, and then the 10x rule of the book, where he's like, whatever your goal is, 10x it, because you're probably going to come up a little short of whatever goal you set. So you might as well set it really, really high. And which goal would you rather come up short of? Right,
and that's where I am with the channel, and we had talked about it. I want in the future to produce more shows and to have more people be able to create product and come out, and eventually you guys might want to do a show just together.
Bang Bros.
So I just
not together.
Bang Bros with a Z.
So that's kind of where my mindset is. I just want to help create.
I just want to be successful.
And I just want to be. I want
not do that again.
Yeah.
I want to be.
These mics have auto tune, right?
Yeah.
Billy
fix it.
So and my number one goal is to what they say, the best revenge is success. I just want to be the richest and the no.
Any particular entity or person that you want to direct this revenge at?
Absolutely nothing. Not my ex-wife at all. I mean, what?
Dude, I thought you were talking about me for a second. I was like,
What's your so Chris, you're coming back, which is awesome. So I think as long as we're having fun, and it's like this is something I look forward to doing, and people can hear that in your voice. Like if it's boring to record, it's going to be boring as hell to listen to.
Yeah, it's like the teacher in Ferris Bueller.
Dude, can you think of anything within the last 20 years?
I was thinking,
have you not watched a movie since you've been married?
I don't have time for movies. I'm always working.
There you go.
good movie.
I don't get.
No, I love Ferris Bueller.
But I was thinking of the other day, Ferris Bueller is the original vlogger.
Damn.
Yeah, I guess so.
He is the original vlogger.
And then that guy from Blair Witch.
Yeah, shit.
Steadicam.
Steadicam.
Chris, what are your goals now that you're back in Moorhead, other than being very, very, very single and happy?
I would say first goal is I got one more brake pad I got to replace. So that's goal number one, you know?
I can only think of, was it Tommy Boy? But go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, just keep going.
Yeah.
Like, no limits, no goals. Just, honestly, I was just talking to my friends. It's just to take over. That's kind of the goal.
Yeah.
And people are like, what is that, like, well, what do you want to do? All that stuff. It's like, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, I love it.
Like,
when people always look at, like Donald Trump or any of the rich people, they're like, why are they still working? Like, what do they want? The answer to that is simple. It's more. Just simple. It's more. You know?
Yeah. I remember early on, like, looking at the 10X rule. So I think, like, around 19 or 20, and just thinking, like, look, I want to be able to retire at 40. That goal has changed. Like, I don't necessarily want to retire. I just want to do what I want.
Yeah.
And so
it's a different mindset when you think of that.
Yeah, make money doing what you want.
Because after 20 years, I didn't retire. I just stopped doing what other people told me to do.
Right.
I think with with technology, how quickly things change now, like people go through mini retirements all the time because there are complete industries that get rendered obsolete. The days of working somewhere for 40 years, retiring, getting the golden watch and the pension, those are kind of long gone. You know, the speed is the new currency. And just with the tools that we have available for free, like things like YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, all of these things, man, there's never been a better time to be alive.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy right now. So we're good. Just moving forward, doing what we got to do.
So the style of show, which I think that'll
work itself
iron
out.
itself out, but maybe give people an idea of the style of shows you enjoy listening to.
So the styles of shows, I'm
whatever the shows you listen to.
Yeah, so I like people. Andy Frisella is a big, the owner of First Forum. I love listening to his content. Of course, Gary Vee. I like his content. Not that I want to be them. I emulate them. So.
Pepperidge Farm, I believe.
Yeah, it's Pepperidge Farm.
So you listen to Gary Vee, and these are big motivational guys.
They are, but they're a little different motivation than your typical. You can do it. You can do anything that you set your mind to. Rah 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 rah. You can do this, and they're just like, F you. I mean, get up in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, you know why you're considered lazy is because you watch Netflix. Until 6 hours a day.
Yeah, you got to flip a switch, man. It's like instead of joining a network marketing company, start one. Instead of reading a book, write one.
Yeah, I mean,
instead of listening to a show,
it's like what you said earlier: stop consuming and let's start creating. And
right.
that's kind of what I wanted to do. And I've been studying YouTube and podcasting and the equipment and how to do things now for a strong 2 years.
We watched your first video yesterday in the car.
Did, and it was god awful.
No, your reaction was, that's really not that bad, huh?
What was the video?
It was a man crying for help.
It was really bad.
Was it you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it was great. But I mean, in the video, it was kind of surreal because you're like, okay, so future Billy, when you're watching this, and I'm like, holy shit, this is future Billy right now. So it was pretty neat.
And I forgot that I said that in the video.
Yeah.
So.
Chris, what I know you're a big Rogan guy.
I was about to say, kind of to backtrack a little bit, you're talking like what kind of stuff do you like and like what's the purpose of the show and grow and do all this stuff. What's good about filming yourself is it is film study moving forward. Mm-hmm. So what you just brought up 2 years ago, you get to see yourself. You know, I know as far as film study goes, and you look at...
So you're referring to like films, like football.
Yeah, like
when
football.
You used to watch film. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and you just watch it and see what you can do better, what you did good, you know, keep doing that, you know, and just how to improve every week. And that's one good thing about filming yourself.
Yeah.
Well, that's something I know in training camp, guys were like, I got to get film. I got to get film. They were saying, I got to get on the field so other teams can see, you know, so it's kind of like actors have an acting reel, you know. I don't want to limit anything that could come out of this. Like, hell, we were on a huge podcast yesterday. So, like, if it was up to me to lay out the critical steps, I would shortchange it all the time. So, yeah, just putting it out there. What do they say in NAA? Dog in the hunt ain't got no fleas.
Dog in the hunt ain't got no fleas.
So, what are some of your shows you like watching?
Pretty much all of mine are comedians.
Comedians and I would say UFC stuff.
Yeah, like breaking down fights, figuring out who I'm gonna bet wrong on. You know,
are you betting money?
Yeah. Well, is it fishing if you never catch a fish, and is it betting if like literally you don't win, like ever?
So you're donating.
I'm doing a lot of donating to Vegas.
But so you're a big Rogan fan, which obviously Rogan and UFC go hand in hand.
Yeah, I would say the first podcast I listened to was Rogan. Mm-hmm. And then that exposed pretty much everyone else, which is the ones I like with Rogan the most are like just mainly comedians and then a random like scientist who like doesn't talk like a scientist.
Right.
You know, it's not like you go and follow them, but yeah, just cool people. And I know when like we were talking about kind of how to grow this, it's just get interesting people on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And be authentic.
And so I'm here.
Yeah. So, guys.
So we are going to.
So they failed that step.
That's one of the goals too, is to really get people in, talk to them, get their point of views. Also, listen to me and Matt talk about our point of views. We could be one day where I'm not in the mood and I just want to rant, or if Matt's not in the mood, he wants to rant, or whatever the case would be. I want to be able to make sure this is almost like an amoeba. We can just kind of fit it to what is entertainment.
I like how Chris and I are both like,
amoeba. Yeah, amoeba. Who's
amoeba.
That? Shiat?
Isn't that the lab that coronavirus came out
amoeba
of?
is like a
we
shapeless
think.
form.
No, that's total alleged. So Chris was just commenting that he needs to settle for a slowdown because he's got two conflicting goals right now. One is to get really lean, and another
really drunk.
Get really drunk. Pretty much like.
Yeah, but it's whiskey. And when are we gonna pop one of these?
Those are decorations.
So you can't have like half and just fill it back up.
Well, that's a lot. No, we're gonna start doing that. But yeah, so you listen to a lot of Rogan.
Yeah, not as much anymore, man. But yeah,
I listen to guys that I've discovered on Rogan, like Theo Vaughn or.
Yeah, and all of them give little nuggets. You know, they'll let you in on how kind of they're growing their business, some of the struggles that they went through, and you realize the reason they're big is one, they're talented to start, which is how they got on Rogan,
right?
And then the Rogan effect. So.
And they produce an incredible amount of content.
Yes.
Like it is
pretty inspiring, man. It's just like how do they do that? Like,
dude, I read Maximum Achievement by Brian Tracy before my senior year in college. Go look on Brian Tracy's YouTube channel. He has thousands of videos. I mean, the guy has been in the game since the 70s, and he's still producing like crazy.
Ferris who?
Yeah.
Ferris Bueller?
So my favorite shows, thanks for asking, guys.
Well, you weren't done talking about your books that you read.
Oh, can we just talk about me a little bit more?
Yeah. Let's talk about you.
I don't think we talked about you.
May 30th, 1987 birth.
So what shows do you like watching?
I've been consuming a lot of Rollo Tomasi recently. I like him a lot. I've been following Chris. Chris has got a damn aquarium over there.
Can you?
Chris, dude, that just blew, it cleaned my ears out. There's a lot of Rollo Tomasi. I'm a huge fan of Gavin McInnes, but he's been all but banned from everything.
Oh, we listened to him yesterday. He was so funny.
Anything Thomas Sowell. Let me see who else. Chris can tell. I'm always listening to something. One guy who you guys need to check out, Mark Dice. Oh, he's got the short 10-minute videos, like the guy with the laptop in his kitchen.
I need to listen to him.
And I'm a big fan of Steven Crowder too. So a lot of these, they're serious things. Rollo is probably the most serious out of all of them, but a lot of these guys are funny. It's entertaining. Life. What is it? Van Wilder? Don't take life too seriously because you never make it out alive type deal. So I mean, it's a
Bert Kreischer.
Yeah. That was based on Bert Kreischer.
Yeah.
So I listen to those guys.
Yeah. And that's, like I was saying about the channel, it's kind of where you were going with that is you get entertainment, you feel, you smile, you feel better, but you get the point.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where
I'm addicted to going, I haven't thought of it like that.
Yeah.
And I'm addicted to then doing that to other people, whether that's someone says you're red pilling someone or something. I love the art of asking questions. You can read anybody's mind with the right amount of questions. So yeah, we are all a mesh. If you want to know something about somebody, go look at the podcast they subscribe to, go look at their books, and you can you'll know who you're dealing with.
Yeah. And I think we have a pretty good dynamic here. We have different age groups.
2 out of 3 is not bad.
2 out of 3.
Well, I did. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm late.
We have
It
different
happens.
views on things.
We were just talking about that. We need to figure out something that we butt heads on.
Yeah.
Chris and I, what do we butt heads on, Chris?
Usually everything, but we're not actually butting heads. We're arguing the same point, but
We'll get
we're
into
damn
the biggest-
sure we're right.
The biggest
Like,
semantics arguments ever.
yeah, and then Matt calls me I don't know, usually a leftist or something, and I'm like, dude, I don't understand how I am liberal on this
dude.
at all.
I'm like,
And
dude,
he's
you've been in
he
Pennsylvania for too long.
He only says that because he knows.
It pisses you
I'm
off.
like, what the hell?
Do you remember Nate went through that deep Southern
See,
stage?
I was young. I don't even remember this.
So Nate was in high school, and he was big into South will Rise Again, got big into the Civil War history. And I remember being like, Nate, weren't you born in Ohio? And dude, I thought he was going to murder me.
Oh God, my son was calling me white boy because he's Italian and all this stuff, and he wears the chains. I was like, all right, and I called him a Yankee. I swear to God, I thought he was going to kill me in my sleep.
Dude, that's a weird thing. There are a bunch of Southern dudes that wear gold chains. That's a style, usually with some kind of billfish on it.
No, I should have a gold dress like this. Literally, I had this shirt.
Bro, I can see your belly button.
Can you?
No, I'm kidding.
How's it look?
Deep.
Is it toned?
Get in there.
My belly button's got muscles.
So let's introduce a segment
Okay.
because you got the magic ball.
I got the magic
Is it,
ball.
is it
Magic
glued?
eight
Is
ball.
it taped down?
No.
So the concept is Billy is a magician. He can read the future. And he's a devil worshipping sorcerer,
I can read the future.
but it's all sleight of hand. So we want to have the magic 8 ball of Billy, and you're going to make a prediction on something. So we got to think of something like a trend or whatever. I would say, what do you think? So YouTube has, for content creators, if you're right of Mao Zedong, you're considered literally Hitler, and there's been deplatforming, demonetizing, all that stuff.
Right.
What do you think the future is for YouTube, and will there be a competitor that will, because it was born out of just true free speech. So what do you think?
I think YouTube.
Or are they too big to fail?
I think they're too big to fail. I also think they are at a point where they have to cover themselves because they were under scrutiny a couple years ago, and with the whole parental advisory and kids watching stuff that they shouldn't be watching. And when you grow to a certain point, you almost have to kind of flip the switch. Case in point, Walmart bowed down to the whole paying policies that they were doing. So what they do, they just, instead of losing money, they just cut hours.
Right.
And that's what YouTube is doing. They're just cutting, if it just has a minute discrepancy in it, they're going to just cut it out or demonetize.
So do you think, so I think a competitor will come in.
I do too. I think you're going to see people like Spotify that's going to have video content that's going to put a big push on YouTube.
They already have a lot. I mean, that's the trouble now is YouTube is kind of the public square.
Yeah, it's there's
you have things like Rumble and BitChute and things like that.
Yeah, and so I think there is going to be a massive competitor. I'm sure Amazon's going to come up with one and launch it. I think I've actually heard something about
I'm
that.
going to go ahead and say they're going to lean a little left.
But
yeah.
I someone's got to come up. I think everyone needs to have competition.
For sure.
Because sometimes we get a little full of ourselves, and I think YouTube.
No, I don't.
Not at all. You're not talking about me, are you? But in a whole, I think YouTube is a great platform. I mean, I know they have their issues, but who doesn't? I mean, if you're going to sit there and nitpick every single social media, then we might just be like Matt Dodge. And
that
just
was a
be
great
all
non-answer, Billy.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's going to be a competitor. I think that YouTube will drop a little bit, but they're not going to go away, and then they'll revamp and rebuild and be stronger.
Didn't they just surpass Facebook in traffic? Because it's owned by Google.
Well, they're the second largest search engine.
Right, behind Google.
Yeah.
But I think they surpassed Facebook in terms of users.
And views. And
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll take like a competitor so YouTube feels in a weird way that they can loosen some of these restrictions. You know, as far as audience going away, they'll be like, okay, now it pays.
Dude, they're
They're
kowtowing to China. I mean, that's like everyone's trying to figure out. Like, you look at what the NBA's done. You know, if you want to know who's in power, just look at people you cannot offend. That's how you can tell who's like that you can't make jokes about.
Zero power.
Yeah.
I think YouTube is going to have a rating system like the movies. You're going to have rated R, PG, PG-13.
Which kind of has that, right? With child
well,
content.
They have 18.
It does, 18, but it doesn't have like certain parameters for age groups. And I think that is probably going to be the next step for them. Just like DVDs and all, when they came out years ago, they had to be labeled.
There's like naked yoga on YouTube.
I guess a goal could be to get big enough to where you do get banned for some of your views.
And it hurts. That's how you know. Like, if
Yeah.
we got banned right now, we're losing out on like 45 cents a month.
I think we'll actually make money.
that a bum throws at us when he drives by.
But yeah, you're right. When they say, okay, well, that's demonetized, you're like, shit, that just blew 10 grand.
Well, I mean, you look at, especially when Steven Crowder was demonetized. I mean, hell, he's got 5.5 million subscribers.
Yeah.
You know, he was pulling in over 500,000 live viewers on election night.
Yeah, but he was doing better ratings.
Oh, he was beating out all the big boys, and the big boys don't like that. All right,
But with that being said, I also think it's important that you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You know, if you're 100% dependent on AdSense for YouTube, you're going to be in trouble because they have the say so.
yeah, they're essentially
So, like, spread your seed around.
Yeah, affiliation marketing.
Can you imagine on Easter if I gave Jackson more than one basket? Dude,
He'd be nuts.
he needed to learn that lesson. Yeah, I think you got to be smart. It's just like now, if you're running a business, you like better figure out a way if the zombie apocalypse comes again, which now they're talking about COVID variants or whatever. COVID-21 is coming out 1,000%. They've already said it. If you haven't looked at it as, because like the first is what, fool me once, shame on me.
Fool me twice,
or
shame
no,
on me.
fame on you, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. It's the same
I
way.
think you just accidentally did the J. Cole song.
It's the same. Yeah. It's the same way with YouTube. So like that's where you build subscription clubs. You know, basically you have to own the platform. And if your business is built on Facebook, at some point there is a master, but YouTube, or if you have an Amazon business or something, it's almost like you're renting an office space in the biggest, you know, shopping center ever that gets all of the traffic. You have a landlord, you know, and they technically can come in and say, look, kick rocks, you're not allowed to do business anymore.
That's unfortunately that's the way YouTube, Facebook, all those places work. So
that's his prediction. There will be competitors, but it's going to be a tough climb.
What's that?
What did the 8 Ball say? Okay.
Okay. So the 8 Ball.
In 10 years, will YouTube be the biggest video platform?
Let me shake it like this.
Huh?
Shake it like a Polaroid picture, dude.
Lower.
God, dude. Right behind that fake hand, too.
Thanks for listening.
Hopefully, no.
Hopefully, no.
I don't know what the hell that means.
So that means, hopefully YouTube is reformed instead of there being a revolution.
Yeah.
All right. And that is our Magic 8 Ball segment.
That's the Magic 8 Ball segment, which needs to get much better.
And now my segment is something that pisses me off, and we're going to call it the Jock Itch.
The Jock Itch. That's good.
Thank you.
I hadn't heard of that yet.
I thought of that. So my Jock Itch, what would my Jock Itch be?
When I disagree on something.
Yeah. No, let me see. What's bothering me right now? I don't really focus on it too much. What annoys you? What's annoying you right now?
What is annoying me other than our government? Probably the woke community.
Oh,
is annoying the shit out of me right now.
Yeah.
The
cancel
culture is annoying the shit out of me right now. So yeah,
what about you,
that was
Chris?
my Jock Itch.
I'm trying to think. I don't really have anything that annoys me.
Oh my God,
right
am I
now.
the only one that's effing annoyed with something in life?
We
man.
have.
I think so.
We have abundance mindsets.
Yeah.
I just say fuck it. Like,
Yeah.
Can we cuss?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Sorry,
like
Mom.
if it annoys me, then fuck it.
Yeah. There are. I mean, I guess bad drivers. God, it's annoying.
God, it drives me nuts.
That's my Jock Itch. But yeah, it doesn't really annoy me too much.
That and shin splints in my left shin. That is damn annoying.
Yeah.
But
That is annoying.
yeah.
God, it hurts.
And that is today's Jock Itch.
That's right.
So I
Jock
tend to.
Itch.
I'll start thinking about things that annoy me.
So that's something. But that'll be a segment. We'll do the Jock Itch, and then we'll do the Magic 8 Ball, and maybe in the future, hey,
What about stuff that
You'll do an
inspires you?
8
Do you have a good name for that?
what's that?
What about stuff that inspires you?
We'll call that when your jock's too small. That inspires me. It's never happened. Yeah. What's getting you guys fired up now? Being back, Chris?
Dude, being back and like that, all of my friend group in their own separate ways are doing big things. You know, and I think that's crazy. I'm talking people that you've known since
Literal morons.
literal morons, you know, but literally people that you've known since before, 5, 6 years old, all back here, all doing big things, and more heads growing, and we're gonna take over.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
that's what inspires me.
New generation.
What about you, Billy?
What inspires me is probably this show right now. I mean, I'm excited for this. I'm excited that we have just a good panel right now. And I think with having guests come in and watching the channel grow and there's no limits for us. And seeing the guys yesterday and thinking they're great people, great guys, but
also knowing
I feel like
too,
we can do it.
They started similar. You know, no one starts a show or a podcast or whatever with, 100,000 subscribers day one. Like, here you go. You know what I mean? There is that similar. I call it the thrash. It's like when you're paddling out. Like every surfer has to paddle out and go through the shit to get out, and it's like you spend your whole time like, man, I can't wait to get out and to take a rest. But in business, like you miss that grind, like, because at some point it's going to get easier. And it's like, how do you keep challenging it? They were talking about that with Conor McGregor. Like, is he going to have that same edge now that he lives in a mansion? He's not waking up on a cot or whatever. His family was on, keeping that edge.
So you have to change and find the edge.
Yeah, well, you just keep, success chasing success, it's like chasing the horizon. You chase after it, but it gets further and further away. But that's the fun part. There's literally no rules. So that inspires me. I get inspired.
I was getting ready to ask, what inspires you?
Yeah, just seeing other guys, other people who are crushing it, because I know it sounds cliche, but it's possible. And instead of saying why, I'm just like, why not, dude? Why not us? Why do it unless, you get what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I think I think we're on the same wavelength of being, do I want to do this forever? I can see myself doing this forever, but I also want, like I said in the beginning of the show, I want to help others do it. I want it to fall under an umbrella. I think I like producing, directing, and creating. So.
Yeah. So I'm inspired that we can just.
And I think if we're honest with one another, if we put our minds to anything, we're going to go 100%. I think it's in the DNA of sports, because I play sports. You guys have definitely played sports. But that's just in your DNA.
That's biblical. Where two or more gathered, I'm there. You know what I mean? And Think and Grow Rich, they call it the mastermind. It is, life a lot of times is a solo act. You know what I mean? We were talking about that before you got here. That's what I miss. You talk to athletes, what they miss is the camaraderie. They'll never be in a room with 100 dudes from 100 different backgrounds that probably wouldn't hang out if they weren't all there for, we got to win on Saturday. Yeah. We got to win on Friday. It is nice to have that. It takes the pressure off a little bit, but also iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. But a switch flipped in my mind to like, dude, Matt, you've been, all right, it's been 15 years you've been consuming YouTube like hard. Like I'm like one of those guys that lurked on the message boards that never, that you're always on but you never created a screen name or whatever. I've been like that on YouTube, and I'm like, screw it, dude. Like, I look a lot younger than I am, but I'm not that young.
No. I wouldn't say you look that young.
Like, all my goals by 30 have moved to by 40 now. But
well, 30,
mine are by 60.
Like 40 is the new 30, right?
That's what somebody in their 30s
would say. That's what I just said.
That's exactly what someone.
Hopefully 2 years from now.
So, yeah, dude, GameStop to the fucking moon. And, hey, look, if it doesn't work, who cares?
Yeah, dude, seriously, I'm doing this purely selfishly. Like, I like talking with y'all, and if we're going to talk, all right, put some mics and a camera up.
Yeah, and that's basically how it all started. So, with that being said, boys, I'm excited for this. I know you guys are excited for this. You should be excited for this.
And if you're still listening right now, you are. All right, that's how we get copyrighted.
That's how you get copyrighted.
No, it's not going to get posted.
Why?
Chris, it's something called rules, dude.
Dude, is Lil Wayne, I'm pretty sure.
Chris was playing Petey Pablo.
Petey Pablo, like a helicopter. Guys, do us a big favor. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you don't like it,
thumbs up.
If you don't like it, you got terrible judgment, and that says more about you than
and
it
you'll
says
be on
about
Jock
us.
Itch.
You'll be on the next Jock Itch.
Don't be my Jock Itch.
Guys, love you.
Unless you're hot.
See ya on the next video.